Okay.
So before we move on to the next guy, I'm moving on
All
my,
right.
my next beer. So I got to say, this is a hazy IPA revision Tahoe Haze Northeast style hazy IPA. So this is my last regular IPA, and then all I got left, get this, is Imperial IPAs. So
Nice.
gonna get real messy here real soon after I finish this guy.
I had to switch to a Coors Light just to cut it for a little bit.
all right. Let's move on. Next guy.
Next guy. Okay, next guy I'm excited about. I'm excited about this guy because of one huge reason. Our next guy is Bryce Eldridge. Bryce Eldridge is with the Single A affiliate with the San Francisco Giants. He is 6'7", 223 pounds. He is only 19 years old. He was drafted round 1, pick 16 overall out of high school, Madison, Vienna, Virginia. And I don't know why I said Virginia like that, but that's cool. We only had 109 at bats in 2023. 109 at bats. He batted 294 on base, 400, slugged 505 on base, plus slugging 905. 34 strikeouts, 20 walks, 6 home runs, 1 stolen bases. I will tell you why I am super excited about this right now. I have a huge comp to him of Wade Meckler.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Where are you getting that?
Because he's a high average guy. He has quite a bit more power than Meckler already, I think. I see Wade Meckler here. Just bear with me. Watch 2024. He's going to be a huge average guy with a little bit more power than Meckler. Plus, he's got a great mustache.
Okay. Well, how to respond to that? Interesting. So he does have a great mustache. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a great mustache. And he's 6'7".
At 18, that's pretty impressive.
I know. I can't even. I'm 40 and I can't even grow a mustache.
He's 19 now, I guess. But okay, so STS doesn't see that in the projection. I don't know that I see that. That's such an interesting comp. But STS sees a guy with a lot of power, not nearly the same quality of hit tool that Meckler's was carrying with him. But they have Bryce Eldridge right now projected for 38 home runs per 600 plate appearances.
It's pretty awesome.
It's huge. It's huge. Very small sample to draw a lot of conclusions from, of course. Only 130 plate appearances, but he made it up to single A level. Did hit 6 home runs. So I don't know. I mean, I see a power potential bat here. He is on the Giants, I guess. Maybe that has something to do with your comp. But I also believe Bryce Eldridge is the pitcher. Were you familiar with that?
I was not. Is he still pitching?
I don't know that he pitched this year, but I think he came into the season as a dual athlete. Or not a dual athlete, but a dual threat, kind of like an Ohtani.
Yeah. He's built like a pitcher. He's freaking huge.
Yeah. Huge guy. So I would say his future is probably in hitting. But I see him more of a power hitter here than like a Wade Meckler type. But a pretty good one. Looks like a pretty solid one to me.
I'm endorsing this one. I like Bryce Eldridge. I like him a lot. And I think you should go get him.
Yeah, for sure. I'm all for it. The thing is, he's probably not super cheap because he does come in with some notoriety, being a first-round pick, the first selection by the San Francisco Giants. So he's not unknown. You'll have to pay up. But I think the price is worth admission. So I'm for it. I say go get him.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to plant my flag here. He's one of my guys. He's going to be a part of my Fab Five.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear it. Ooh.
All right. The next one, we got another Yankee. And might be the only Yankee that I've ever liked as a prospect. And I'll tell you, we'll get into it. We've had two different podcasts that we've talked about the Martian, Mr. Jason, or is it Jason or Jason?
It's just Jason. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, ass is in there, so it looks like Jason.
Yeah,
but
okay,
it's just Jason.
Yeah, Jason Dominguez, the Martian, the New York Yankees center fielder, 5'9", 190 pounds, 20 years old. He debuted last year, which I thought was stunning. He was born February 7th, 2003 in the Dominican Republic. This year, I'm just going to do this year, he had 118 at-bats, 265 average, 377 on base, slugged 425, on base plus slugging, 802, 15 home runs, 40 stolen bases, 133 strikeouts, 83 walks, 22 doubles, 3 triples. I'm going to tell you why I like Jason Dominguez, and that is because the New York papers, the media said that the Martian, Jason Dominguez, was going to be the best thing since sliced bread. He was going to be the greatest hitter since Mickey Mantle. And there was no doubt about it. Like, they were for sure stating this. Like, no matter what, he is going to be the greatest baseball player ever. And he fell on his face. Most people, 98% of people, would have crumbled and never been able to survive it. He proved he's a really good baseball player. He showed everything that he needed to make it to the major leagues. He's still not to the caliber that the media projected him to, but I really enjoy Jason Dominguez now. And it's for all of that. Most people can't survive something like that. Matter of fact, okay, a side story, Zach Greinke said that he would not go to the New York Yankees because of his anxiety. He wouldn't have been able to handle the New York press, the New York facade, however you want to say it. Jason Dominguez has got one hell of an uptick in my book for handling that shit.
Yeah. When you say facade, I think you like pressure maybe is more appropriate.
Yeah, just bubble, aura.
Yeah, okay. I see, yeah. The aura. Okay, I'm following you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's fake. It's not fake. It's real there.
No, it's certainly real. Yeah, certainly real. It's an aura around it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super conflicted when it comes to Jason Dominguez. Where to start? So we did a player eval on him last year, and much to your point, we came into that eval being like, yeah, he fell on his face early on, and we sort of reveled in it a little bit, right? Both you and I, because he was so hyped. Like, the hype was immense, and he just didn't live up to it. And I think you and I both enjoy when that doesn't happen for whatever reason. Sick pleasure. I don't know. But this year, or then last year, he showed us that he was a ball player. He did a really good job. And last year, I would say his season was very similar. It wasn't a huge breakout. In fact, the beginning of the season was pretty poor. He turned it on near the end and had a very strong finish to the season, which tells you about the type of quality player he is. And got a major league call-up at the end, right? So playing under the New York Lights, he was a star. He really was a star for the Yankees. He hit 4 home runs in a pretty small sample size and 33 plate appearances, 4 home runs. All of a sudden, the billing is back that the best thing since sliced bread, essentially, Jason Dominguez, he's here. He got hurt. He's going to be out for a while, which, unfortunate turn of events, but I feel like the hype is now too strong. I've seen him ranked super aggressively on prospect lists as a result, and I'm not sure where that's coming from. I mean, 4 home runs in the major leagues in your first 33 plate appearances is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but you have a whole slew of minor league data to back up where he should be ranked too. And it's not as a 677 slugger like he was in those 33 plate appearances. It's a guy that can hit for power, but at least not right now, not looking like a 40 home run guy, looking maybe like a 15 to 20 home run guy, and maybe 30 to 40 stolen bases. Those are really good numbers. Don't get me wrong, but the billing is that, he's way up here, and I've seen so many top 10 prospect assignments to him. I just I'm starting to feel that same way again, where I'm a little off. And even last season, I did some of these shorts with Tom, one of our STS guys, and he asked who was overrated between these players, and I would say Jason Dominguez, because the hype was too strong.
Yep.
And it wasn't because I don't think he's a good prospect. It was just because the hype is too strong. And now I'm feeling that again, and it's pushing me away from me having high regard of him, which I did have last year.
Yep. Even
though I have not really docked him in my rankings or anything like that as a result, he is still a highly ranked prospect for me. I have him at, let's see if I can find Jason Dominguez, at number 37. And even people at STS have him in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a mismatch. 37 is a good player. I think he's a very good player, but I'm not seeing the top 10 guy right now. I'm just not. He had a great debut. That happens. So did Evan Carter, who I do have as a top 10 prospect, incidentally. But, I think so often these turn out to be like Sullivans, Not that I'm looking at Evan Carter, but I would be if I owned Jason Dominguez. No doubt about it.
I think if this is a shot against you and me, I think we are both falling into the entrapment of we can't stand what the media has done to this gentleman, and we're so sick and tired about hearing it that we're gonna drop him down. I think he's 19 on my top 100 list. I believe he's top 20. I think it's 19. But yeah, I do. I get so irked and mad, and then I really start looking into the numbers and saying the kid's just not very good. And you guys are preaching that he's incarnate. He's coming back. Here he is. It's Jesus himself. And then I look at it and I'm like, no, he's not. He's awful. And he's not awful. He's very, very freaking good. He's only 20 years old. He'll be 21 at the start of the season. Probably starting.
I pulled up I've got your rankings here. That's the great thing about STS. I can always look at them. You have him at number 33, so you're closer aligned to me.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I thought I am higher than that. I think I would, revamp that, and I'd have him probably in the top 20. Well, maybe not, because there's a lot of guys I like. But anyways, I'm just saying that I think he's really, really good. He's 21 years old. He's starting for the New York Yankees. They're probably starting him because of the media shit.
Yeah, he's not even 21 yet. He'll be 21
at the start of the year, yeah,
for sure. But he's going to be out, I think, half the year. He's going to be gone at half the year with an injury.
Did he tear ACL?
Tommy John. He had Tommy John? Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, UCL. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so he's going to be gone for a while,
Yeah. So, okay, this is where I stand on Jason Dominguez as far as getting him. Don't go get him because you ain't going to be able to afford him.
Whoever owns him is likely a huge fan. That's how it goes with these. Likely he's ended up with somebody that loves him.
Yeah. Okay, to put it in perspective, in our league, where you can draft, we have an open universe for our drafts. He was drafted at 16 years old. 16. And the same owner has him. And
Yeah,
he's
and
not
he
going.
was untouchable for most of that time.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake. He should be trading him. There's a couple moments that right when he first came out and the hype was so high on Jason Dominguez, he was a top 30 prospect like right out of the gates. And then after that debut, because it was so strong that he's carrying now top 10 billing, he's a good trade candidate at those 2 points in time. And I view those as almost equal because you could have got top 30 prospect billing, 3 years ago. Now it's top 10. So like you've netted some spots, but you could have transferred that for somebody that, who knows, could have been a top 5 guy or whatever. Anyway,
this might be the only time that I ever say this because I don't think it happens very often. It might actually happen more than I think, but this is a perfect sell candidate because you can get so much value out of it. Like you find a Yankees fan, sell him to the Yankees fan and get Sagisi and Emerson and whoever the hell you want out of there, and they'll do it because they're such freaking diehard fans. I don't think I'll ever say that again. I really, unless it's another Yankees player.
So let me put it this way. I think Dominguez is a really good player.
So do I.
I'm with you that he is overranked because of his professional debut right now. And the hype that was surrounding him when he was first coming up, that still was lingering behind the scenes. The time to buy him was last season. I think we said that on the show pretty emphatically that we were fans and we thought you should get him. If you didn't get him then at the prices he was at, like you're not getting him now, and it's not worth it anymore. It was worth it there for a moment. It's not worth it anymore.
So I want to put something in perspective, actually something that happened today anyways. I don't want to get too far off the rail. I know I am. But Vaughn Grisham was traded today for Chris Sale, correct?
Yep.
Can you imagine if the New York Yankees would have traded, let's just say the Braves, because Braves are a huge market team in baseball too, but the Yankees are on a whole nother level. If that would have happened with the Yankees, that fan base would have freaking flipped their minds on a young player getting traded for an old pitcher.
But it's not even just the fans.
Yeah, the media would have went nuts. They would have said this is the worst trade that the Yankees could have ever made. And I think it's a good trade. Everybody
in the industry that I seem to have communications with on a regular basis or I'm adjacent to is way down on Grissom. Like they just don't.
I'm not a fan of him. I'm not either. I never.
But I do like. I like him. I actually think he's pretty interesting. To me that deal makes sense in the major leagues because there's contracts and things like that also go into play. In a fantasy league, do you do that deal? I don't know. It seems like in our league, you have to pay like exorbitant prices to get any sort of young talent. And that could include like a Chris Sale or more even, So maybe that deal goes down there too. But yeah, there's a lot of outrage associated with it. It's interesting. And yeah, it would never happen in New York. It would not happen for Jason Dominguez.
People would lose their freaking minds if a young talent left New York for an old pitcher. Lose their it's just boggling to me because
I don't know, Brian. I don't know because that's what they did for like decades. They were selling all their talent in their farm for established players. That was their game plan for vets. It's not a bad game plan.
They weren't trading though. They were just buying them. They were free agents that they could just turn and burn.
They were doing both. They did both. They traded a lot. They didn't have much in their farm, and they didn't really keep them around because they were always moving for established guys.
They didn't care. Yeah, they didn't care.
Yeah, exactly. So
but I'm just saying. So let's just say that they traded the Martian for Blake Snell. I mean, New York would blow up. It would just blow up. They'd say, "What are you doing? Everybody needs to be fired."
I don't know. Maybe
It would be a good trade. It would be a fantastic trade, and they would lose their mind.
Yeah,
I'm going off the rails. I'm speaking from my heart. Moving on.
I like it.
So, randomly, we got a special guest from Canada. Doc just said, "Hey, let me pop on here real quick to talk about some prospects." Doc Holliday's here. Hello, my friend. Welcome from Canada. He's got a cigarillo going. Say a few words, man.
Well, I know you all probably did the drink business earlier, so I'll keep it quick with it. You can get these guys. These are some Panthers. They're just kind of little silly little cigarillos. We don't have time for the full thing. Kind of like my appearance right now. And they normally go $59.99 on Cigars International, but sometimes you get them for $9.99. You get this whole carton. It's crazy deal. And then I'm drinking. There's not coffee in there.
Okay, all right.
Well, I don't know. I should probably look at Canadian laws. I am technically in my vehicle right now. We're not going anywhere, baby. I'm in here, away from family over the holidays, so we can do a quick little. I gotta get my fix. I feel like I got some addiction. I think we got problems, boys. But I got some Larceny Kentucky bourbon. Just a drop in there to say I'm part of the thing. And now, do y'all want me to let you know where I am? Where exactly in Canada? Because that might lead us into our next prospect.
Yeah, no, don't tell us about it. Just make sure nobody comes knocking on the window asking what you're doing here.
I mean, if we get a DUI on our podcast,
I'm just fleeing back to America. Fleeing back to America. I'm like, sorry, buddy, baseball was calling. I am in Burlington, Ontario, where I was raised, and that is where someone who is a little bit better at baseball than I am, Owen Casey, was born and raised. He went to Notre Dame High School, Notre Dame, and I actually went to the same high school. It's a very crazy world, very small world. It's so funny. He's 6'5", this ginger kid, Irish last, Owen Casey, very iconic kind of guy. I feel like if this kid was in, the Northeast or Texas or one of these baseball hotbeds, his experience in high school would have been a lot different because here it's hockey, and then some more hockey. So, but he's about to change. He's about to go through some changes because now he's in the baseball rabid, the rabidest fans, some of them, the Chicago Cubs organization. And this kid, I'm hearing that he's got possibly, after Junior Caminero, the most power in all of the minors. He might have the most power. I heard it's up there. There are some metrics behind this. I'm going to be bad on metrics today because, as you can tell, I'm using my phone. But this kid, he's launching bombs after bombs. I think this is a good place for him, actually. Sometimes, the model has some funny rankings. You're not sure. Is that sample size? What is this? With Owen Casey, I mean, he might even be in the top 10 now for me. He's going to be ramping up and launching to the top of rankings this spring. I think you're going to see it. And I don't know. I could see Mr. Owen Casey maybe getting a cup of coffee by the end of this year. I mean, he's 20 years old in Double-A. Is that correct? I mean,
that's hot. That's a hot
these
take,
days.
Man.
These days, it's like, I don't think he's going to start. I don't think he's anywhere close to ready for the start of the year, personally. But I think you're going to want him revved up so he can give you a chance at that that compensation pick, right? So the way things are set up now, I think it's just you're going to see more guys go from Double-A to the hot. So anyway, I guess I had a thought or two about that.
That was a fantastic introduction. I'm going to bounce back just a little bit. Here we are. We got Owen Casey, and he's with a Double-A affiliate with the Chicago Cubs. He's 6'5". Is what Doc says, but MILB says 6'3", 190 pounds. They're wrong. Doc's right. He's age 21, born Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Drafted round 2, pick 45. Went to high school Notre Dame, Burlington, Ontario. His stats this year in 2023 look as 439 at bats, 289 average, on base of 398, slugging 519 with an OPS of 917, 22 home runs, 7 stolen bases, An odd thing, he got caught stealing 9 times, 164 strikeouts, 76 walks, 31 doubles, 2 triples. Well, we all know Doc's opinion here. He loves Casey.
I'll give you one little knock on him, and it's the knock we all know. First of all, I'm going to say the steals, the guy that big, whatever. I don't think it's going to keep happening. But I think, and maybe you or Ross want to pick up on this note, but we got to keep an eye on those strikeouts. That's the only reason he hasn't been higher so far, from what I can tell. But and I'll say one more thing. Think about this. People I've been talking to around here, I'm like, you got a base. I have to remind them, like, you guys got a baseball stud from your area, from the city. They don't care. They don't know. Here's the thing. You'll see a guy like some of these Canadians, though, they'll go down to America and they'll go to an American high school, a prep school, and they'll, and that's how, they'll go forward. I mean, the fact that he stayed in Canada and he still got drafted in the second round speaks volumes to what the scouts thought of him. So I'll just leave it on that. And what do y'all think about this fella?
I agree. I'm on board with you, Doc. I really like Casey. Casey? How do you say that?
Casey.
Okay. So I'm on board. I like everything about it, but what you said it. You mentioned the one big bugaboo in the room is that strikeout percentage. He's got to figure it out. Other than that, he's on a rocket ship to the moon. Ross?
No, I agree. I agree completely with everything you guys said. Owen Casey, big physical guy, hits with power, pretty good all-around numbers. As Doc mentioned, the big concern, the one red flag in this profile is the strikeouts. So, and they were pretty high last year despite pretty good numbers, but we're looking at a guy that was 20 years old last year, 21 this year, for most of the season, 21, 22. But he could be in AAA on the precipice of the major leagues. Just work on making consistent contact, and there you go. You got a major leaguer, and probably one of the better major leaguers for the Chicago Cubs. The third Cubs guy on the list that we've talked about, by the way.
I don't think Wrigley gets talked about enough as a hitter's stadium either. I mean, it's up there. It's if people get to keep ripping on Bellinger. And, his metrics, his power metrics are all down. I'm like, well, he hit 26 last year, so something's happening. And I think part of that was probably, the way the wind was blowing at Wrigley. It helps. And if you already have massive power like this guy, I think the future will be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch him. See how, and he's got something about him, right? You can see them really, building him in there as a cornerstone in the outfield.
So Bellinger hasn't signed anywhere, right? He's still a free agent.
I'd love him to come back to Chicago at this point.
Okay, if he doesn't, though, let's just talk about this. We could have Pete Crow Armstrong and Casey coming up to the bigs next year. That's a fun outfield.
And you got Alcantara knocking on the door, maybe?
Yeah. That's a fun outfield. We got some rooks just playing in the outfield in the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the arms, Cade Horton and Ben Brown, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's not like I was looking at Dansby Swanson today. He's still just 29 years old. I feel like he feels a little older than that. They can. He didn't have the year he had the year before, but I looked at the numbers. They're fine. He's I mean, this is an interesting team, and I'm a Justin Steele believer. I'm a fanatic of him. I think, I'm not like necessarily a Cubs fan or anything, but it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. They're definitely going to be the Chicago team of note for the foreseeable future. So the White Sox got some work to do.
I mean, I think it's been that way for a while. It seems like. Anyway,
I'm a fan of both those players that you just mentioned. Justin Steele, he's obviously on my dynasty team that is legit now. He's the cornerstone on my pitching staff. And I got to say, as far as head game is concerned, Dansby Swanson, that's a good-looking gentleman, man. That's a good-looking fella.
That was an interesting lead-in. I didn't know where
right. So Okay, all right.
I'm heterosexual enough to admit when people are good looking. It's a handsome man. It's a handsome man.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're all on board. All three of us.
Yes, sir.
Is he a go-getter?
Yeah, go get him. Yeah, he's especially a go-getter right now. I think there is helium there that's starting to sink in, but it's not completely there yet. I mean, my opinion on him has even changed in the last month or so. I'm like, I'm starting to go through the outfield, prospects. I'm like, I mean, he's up there. He's up there near the top. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. Get him now. It's going to be way more expensive in spring, I think.
It's not nearly as expensive as you just said. Not nearly as expensive as it will be. Mm-hmm. So, now is the time to go get Casey. Owen Casey.
Yep. Keep an eye on the strikeouts. That's the one red flag.
Agreed. Doc, you going to hang out for Roman Anthony?
I'll hang out for Roman Anthony and maybe one more. I said 7:30 when I'm done, and right where I'm at right now it's 7:21. So we'll see.
All right. So we're Brian. We're in the top 10. We're in the top 10.
We are.
And I got to share. I'm on to another beer. I'm on to just Imperial IPAs. This one's called Comatose. So good night. Good night, after this.
Night.
So it's going to be fun. And we get to talk about one of the Fab Five. So I'm stoked about this.
Yep, part of the Fab Five of Ross Jensen, just Ross. We're diving into the top 10 already here. STS, Statliners, Bats and Stats. Here we go. Roman Anthony, AA affiliate with the Boston Red Sox, plays for the Portland Sea Dogs. He was born 5/13/2004 in West Palm Beach, Florida. Drafted in the second round, pick 79 overall. This year's stats, he had 397 at-bats, 272 average, on-base percentage of 403, slugged 466, on-base plus slugging 869, 119 strikeouts, 86 walks, 14 home runs, 16 stolen bases, 27 doubles, 3 triples. He's a stat line stuffer. Let's be what he is. The guy can do everything really good. Does he have anything that he's amazing at? That's my question. I like Roman Anthony. I just want to know, does he excel at anything? Or is that his acceleration is just being damn good?
Well, I mean, if hitting the ball really hard and having really good eye and plate discipline, I feel like that's something. I think from what I'm understanding, he's top of the class in those categories, and well, I like those categories. It's and I get surprised when I go to see his profile.
Did we lose him?
Did we lose Doc?
We might have lost
power outage in Canada. All right, so let me pick up from there, unless we get him back. But Roman Anthony, oh my God, Brian, interesting to hear you say that. Not maybe not good at anything that's particularly good, but I see something different in this profile.
Yeah, he's good at everything. I'm wondering if he excels at anything.
I've got him as being excelling at almost everything. I mean, okay, so I want to use your refrain here because I don't know that there's any other prospect in baseball that is necessarily on a rocket ship as much as Roman Anthony.
That's Mars.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. I'm gonna do the statistical thing. Doc, I'll hand it back over to you. Thanks for rejoining us. But he started out at single A and he had a 693 OPS, only one home run. And there was talk even at that time that, he's got the skills, he had great plate discipline, as many walks as strikeouts. It just wasn't quite coming together, but he got promoted anyway. And at high A, he had a 981 OPS in more plate appearances than he had at single A. And he was promoted to double A. And what do you think he did there? He put a 1020 OPS together. he improved at every level. You don't even need to look at splits. You don't even need to look at the month to month like improvement to see how much he improved throughout the year. This guy he's a straight up sort of player. He's figuring it out. He's doing everything he needs to do. He's hitting with power. He's got speed. He's super athletic as far as I understand. This guy has got supreme athleticism. In fact, when he came into the league with this, I guess, view of him being raw. And he's not raw. He's a very mature, advanced hitter, I think. That's what I'm seeing when I look at the numbers. So we're seeing something very different here than what I think scouts were saying that he was when he was coming into the league. So straight rocket ship to the top. No other prospect has the helium potential, I think, that Roman Anthony does. Very few in the league. And even on this list, and we're going to talk about some really good prospects. We're in the top 10 now. Top 10 now, man. So very few have the helium potential that Roman Anthony does. This guy has the potential to be the number one prospect. That's how I view it.
Ooh, yeah. There it is.
And
that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I think he's safe, too. I mean, the floor on this guy at this point, it's just anytime you see a guy, like you were saying, when you're promoting him to higher competition and the numbers are improving, like that's, Basayo was doing the same kind of thing. Those kind of guys, those are the guys. And at young ages, too. They're from what I understand, he's hitting the ball really hard. I believe he's training with Jackson Holiday. I'm not sure if I heard that right. But he's out there. He's training with the best of the best, the other young stud. He's probably asking for tips on how he can be the next number one fantasy prospect. That's they have this conversation. It's really important to them. No, man, it's and then anytime you got a guy with that high OBP like that, why is he on the team? Well, he gets on base. So when you can get on base, you're already checking a huge one in my books. And yeah, I mean the fact this guy actually, I think this is where I was getting cut off there from this Canadian internet. Van White. He steals bases, and I don't know if he's going to go away. He's not that he's big, but he's not like he's chunky. He's just an athlete. This could be a guy where maybe what's he giving you? Great OBP numbers, probably a reasonable average. I mean, but it's looking from the sounds of the way he's hitting this ball, at least 25 home run kind of guy. And then maybe he's giving you 15 stolen bases. This is just a nice thing, and that's. You don't like to go too crazy here, but I think he's got a ceiling. I think he's got a peak season in him with numbers, especially with the power that can beat that. I mean, you're looking at a guy, maybe he gets up to that 30 home run kind of power someday. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. Look at Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman made a career off of between 20 and 30. We get kind of greedy as fantasy guys. We want that big 40 home runs. Okay, cool. That's great if it happens. But hey, man, get on base and make the magic happen. I think it'll take care of itself. I'm really excited about him. I think you're right. He's got the upside to be the number one, but his floor is it's not that low. This is a guy you want to invest in. Even now, he's still not ranked where he could be. So you could still buy here and make a profit.
I like it.
That makes him can't miss, in my opinion.
You just can't. Yeah, I hate saying that. I remember people saying Kellenic can't miss, and it's like,
no, that's not true. That's not true.
You never said that.
No,
I didn't say you said that, but I heard some voices saying it. Voices in my head.
I had him ranked number 17 that year when everybody was calling him the number one. Not in the same boat.
I have a hard time seeing this play discipline dropping off too severely, right? I mean, it's honestly kind of hard to figure out. I was stumbling a bit thinking about what I'm going to give him a peak projection of. It's like, I don't know. Because right now he's got video game numbers. So we have to see him get humbles, like Jackson Holiday. I want to find the holes in these guys' games because I'm not seeing any right now, which if you're investing in dynasty stocks, that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Incidentally, I have Roman Anthony ranked number 17 this year, but I'm saying he has number one potential.
Top 10, personally.
Yeah.
I got to work on that one, but yeah.
So, yeah, I have two things on Roman Anthony. One, I don't see a blocker in Boston. We could see something shocking like Roman Anthony playing in the bigs next year. It's not crazy. It's not out of this world. Guy's a superstar. Number 2, he's got a face comp to Robert De Niro.
What?
No, he's got a face.
He's a young Robert De Niro.
No, that's absurd. I can't disagree with you more. He's got a face comp to Colt Emerson. They're the same guy. I'm convinced.
No, he's got
Colt
a
Emerson
young
and Roman Anthony look like the same guy.
I don't
look up Roman Anthony.
Okay,
and tell
so
me
he's got that. He's got that mold. Like he's got that mold like De Niro has. Is that what you're keying in on?
Oh no, I'm keen on his whole face. That's Taxi Driver right there.
I can't risk with my Canadian van Wi-Fi. I can't risk going away to look at pictures right now, but I'll have to get back to you on that one.
But you take a look at him, and he's built like an athlete. The guy is
Raging Bull. Yeah, I know.
And I'll say this about Boston. Honestly, you raise an interesting fact about him being in Boston beyond, the team's not looking too sharp right now. I think there's definitely room for him to pop in there. Here's an interesting thing I just kind of thought about. That I'm not sure if you're feeling this right now, but especially after trades like today, the fan base is not happy. They're really I know a lot of guys who are Red Sox fans they're not happy with the way this franchise is going right now. And so it could be a move where like, we need a jolt here. We need to give the fans an indication that we care, that we're going to try to win, that we want to put out a good, fun team that's quality. Well, if Roman Anthony comes in, I would think of more of like a late season cup of coffee is what I would predict. Yeah. But I mean, if he comes in there and he's, got a 400 OBP in spring training, ripping bombs, I don't know. Maybe if he does it, it'd be fun. Can dream.
Yeah, I certainly didn't mean to say that he's starting the year in the MLB, but I can see a call up. I can see a call up real quick. Somewhere around the All-Star break, just to see what he's got to give the fans some juice. Boston would love it. Boston would love this guy, especially with the De Niro comp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
De Niro comp. All right. Well, fellas, I'm here to visit Canadian family, and I said 7:30 at 7:32. I'm kind of frustrated. I'm having a blast right now. Wish I could stay longer. I'm gonna have to go look at some pictures of Roman Anthony now and see what you're seeing.
Darren, go enjoy your family. Appreciate you coming in. That's awesome.
Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, everything, man. God bless.
I'll see you in the land of the free.
You
Sounds
bet.
Good.
See ya. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had Doc, show up randomly for us. That was amazing. I was so excited that he could just pop in for just a second, especially during the holidays. That was great of him to do that. But we're jumping into number 9, and number 9 we got Walker Jenkins. That's a Hall of Fame name comp right there, Walker Jenkins. That's like Walker Texas Ranger roundhouse kicks to the face. I love it. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. He's 18 years old. He was drafted by the Minnesota Twins in round 1, pick 5 overall out of South Brunswick, Southport, North Carolina. And he had a phenomenal season. He only had 105 at bats, batted .362 from the rookie level to the A level. On-base percentage of .417, slugged .571, on-base plus slugging .988. He had 6 stolen bases, 3 home runs, 5 doubles, 4 triples. I think the Twins have got something pretty crazy here. He's only 18 years old, Ross. This is a wait and see, but in my book, you have to go get him right now because it's going to be so expensive if he blows up next year, right?
Yeah. I mean, incredible numbers on his debut. Super small sample. This is small sample alert that we're dealing with here. But he came in with a lot of pedigree. Clearly, as the 5th overall pick, I think he's better than Max Clark. I'm going to throw that out there.
Ooh,
I'm throwing this out there. I know you're a Tigers fan. You like Max Clark for that reason. And if we had Darren on here, he did a little piece on Max Clark being the next number 1. I'm telling you right now, I've seen enough that I have Walker Jenkins ranked above Max Clark. Now, I've seen other people that have him much more aggressively ranked, like top 10. I'm not there yet, but I do have him quite high. I have him as my number 23 overall prospect, and there's nothing to knock here. It's a great all-around profile. Great plate patience, hitability, power, speed, everything you want. You got to get him now. Now's your only chance. Now, is it a perfect profile? I don't know. You tell me. It's not because the sample isn't big enough.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there's not much to peck at. I think Walker Jenkins is looking pretty incredible.
He's number 2 on my Fab 5.
Number 2 on your Fab 5. Who's number 1?
We just talked about it.
Roman? Wait, no. Who's your number 1?
I don't remember.
You said, I think we talked about you needed to have a top a Fab 5, but we didn't actually say.
I have 100 of them.
Right. Okay.
But no, Walker Jenkins, I was just teasing you. Walker Jenkins is very, very high in the Shanks portfolio right now. But I want to see next year.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want Walker Jenkins and you want to explore what he's going to do, you have to get him right now, because if anything happens next year of him exploding in any category, I mean, he could do stolen bases, he could do home runs, average, whatever slugging, whatever you want. If he touches one of those numbers, he is completely unattainable. You can't get him. He's going to be a top 5 prospect.
Absolutely. He's a go get him 100%.
Yep.
And I got to say, we're circling around. We're 20 minutes away from 3 hours. So I got Comatose double IPA, Imperial IPA here. So things are getting fun and interesting. Let's keep this thing going and see what kind of conversations come out. You're going to get the truth from us.
This is number 6. We will be busting out the second 6-pack really, really soon.
Ooh.
9.1 horsepower. I'm going to feel good tomorrow. Holy cow, I'm going to feel good tomorrow. I can't explain how I'm going to feel good. Anyways, here we go. One of my favorite prospects. It doesn't matter about positions. It doesn't matter about affiliates. It doesn't matter about anything. One of my favorite prospects overall, Mr. James Wood with the Washington Nationals, AA affiliate. Born 9/17/2002 in Rockville, Maryland. Drafted by the San Diego Padres in round 2, pick 62 overall out of the IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. I apologize. I can't read. He came over in the trade for Blake Snell. Am I right? No, not Blake Snell.
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto trade. So he went over with, it was James Wood, a pitcher, and the other outfielder.
Robert Hassel.
And for Juan Soto. And James Wood.
And there was another pitcher in there too. But anyway, continue.
Was there 1 or 2 pitchers? There was 2?
I think there was 2. There was 4 players overall.
Yep. Okay. And the guy's 6'6", 240 pounds. And I think that is even a little bit low on both ends. I think he's 6'8", and I think he's about 260. He's a mountain of a man. Great season last year. We talked about him pretty hard in the offseason last year. We said, go get him. You have to have him. This year, 473 at-bats, 262 average, 353 on base, slugged 580, on base plus slugging 873. 26 home runs, 18 stolen bases, 173 strikeouts, which is way too freaking high. 65 walks, 28 doubles, 8 triples. God, another guy that's just stuffing the stat line. I'm still on board. I said last year, you have to have him. If you want to be relevant in fantasy baseball, you have to have James Wood. I'm still there. His batting average suffered because of strikeouts. Was that because of the move over to the Washington Nationals? It could have been. I like to put excuses on guys that I love, especially in this zone. I'm all about James Wood. I have to have him.
Okay, so I want to be very clear about this. I practice what I preach. What I say here on the show, I do. By and large, and it's all a matter of degrees. So not everything is like black and white. I just do or don't. It's a matter of degrees. And James Wood was a guy that last year I acquired super early on in the season. I said, this is a guy that you want, you need. And I traded, who was it that I traded for James Wood at the time? Somebody who lost a lot of notoriety.
It was in the CBS league, right?
No, that was in our league, our home league. Anyway, big deal. Early on in the season, moved somebody for James Wood, 1-1. Oh, Khalil Watson. You remember that. Yeah. Khalil Watson.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Now, I moved James Wood again this year. And in 2023, I moved James Wood in a deal. You don't remember this?
No.
Okay, so I moved James Wood. I traded him, and I got Jose Ramirez. Not just 1-1. Like I moved a couple prospects. One of them was James Wood. But I want to say this to emphasize that I practice what I preach. And what I am going to say here might be upsetting in a sense, but I think James Wood is a really good prospect. But he showed enough signs of challenge this year to where I was like comfortable with moving him. He had a very good start to his season in high A, which is what was expected, but the plate discipline wasn't quite as good as he had shown last year, which was the big development for him. And then in Double A, even though he still hit with tremendous power, he did really well. The plate discipline was not nearly as good, and he struck out a lot. I moved him, and I got Jose Ramirez, helped me win a title in the league. So no regrets whatsoever in doing that. I would do it every day, all day. And I'm here to say right now, last year we were on Bats and Stats, and we were saying bye James Wood. I think he might actually be a good sell high candidate. And that's not to say I don't think he's going to be a good prospect, because I think he will be. Or a good player. I think he's going to be a good player. A very good player, indeed. But
my thoughts on it, yeah, you got Jose Ramirez. Yeah, you won a national title. Yeah, you got the title. You will rue the day that you traded James Wood. You're going to look at James Wood in 5 years and be like, good God, I wish I still had him. You got the title. That's all that matters. We're going for titles. We're going
I can only have 3 outfielders, Brian.
That's true. You got Juan Soto, Corbin Carroll. Who's your third?
Evan Carter. I picked Evan Carter over James Wood.
Yeah, you were wrong. Anyways, James Wood, go get him. Ross says sell. I say go get him.
I'm not saying sell. I'm saying he's a good sell high candidate. He said sell. He's a good sell high candidate, but I think he's probably a hold in most leagues. I don't think it's somebody to run from, but I think there's enough to suggest like it's not all a guaranteed incline from here. One of my favorite articles from last year, by the way, was called James Wood is Divergent. I loved that article. It was incredible. Tall guy, big guy, lots of projection, speed, power. There's a lot of possibility when it comes to James Wood. But again, root yourself in the numbers. Look at what the numbers are saying for James Wood when he went to AA. Granted, he was only 20 years old, but 39 walks, 124 strikeouts, and 368 plate appearances. That's a lot of strikeouts, man. That's really high. So that
he's Aaron Judge, but better.
He's been challenged at that level, is all I'm going to say. And he still hit with power, so the numbers are pretty solid, but buyer beware.
He's Aaron Judge, but better. That's my opinion. Talking about an MVP.
Again, at the end of the day, the name of the game for me is trying to take the guessing out of the game. So if there's some guessing, I'm trying not to.
We're moving on. We're moving on to number 6. After this one, guys, I got to tell you.
No, we're on 7, dude. Let's go back one. 7.
Who did I miss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who am I missing?
We have right now Ryan Clifford.
Yeah,